there, my fellow Coofers. I hope the weekend is treating you well. All this coronavirus stuff, it's my shit. I can't stop. I can't stop watching it, paying attention to it. It gets more exciting as the days go by. I love watching the empty bun, nothing burger crowd tear their hair out in fucking fury every time this thing just won't go away. I've watched their different assessments of the whole situation, and it started with, it'll burn out in China. Give it a week, it'll be under control. And then it went to, well, it's just a few quarantines. It's just a couple of cities in Hubei. It's Wuhan, whatever. And then it was, well, it's only 300 million. Well, it's only 500 million. So what if they've quarantined a tenth of the human population? It's just in China. Then it started spreading around a little bit. And what was the next thing? Well, it won't get any foothold anywhere. Oh, so it's in Japan and South Korea. Who gives a shit? It can't affect the white man. And then it comes to Europe. And then it comes to North America. And it's even making headway on down into Africa. And it's getting crazier by the day. And I like that fury. I like that anger. It sustains me. It makes it more entertaining for me as they get angrier. More ass blasted by the fact that those general threads are never going away. We're going to be here until the world burns out at the rate things are going. It's more of a relaxed stream. A couple of people in chat, why are you streaming so late, Jim? Well, I guess it really depends on your time zone, but one of the reasons that I'm streaming at the time I am, somebody asked me, like, hey, are you going to do a stream? Sure, why not? Let's do a stream. Let's talk about some of the happenings that are happening out there right now. Well, there's a lot of them. Where do we even begin? What do we start with, chat? There's so much to go over. We could talk about the fact that China is clearly lying about their numbers, and more people are becoming aware of that. As you watch the spread of this disease outside of China, it becomes impossible to believe the Chinese numbers that are presented to you. You only have to look at Princess Death, the plague boat, or Japan, or South Korea to get a better idea of what's going on. Then you got a few surprises sprinkled in there. So how should we start it? Because I've got a couple of real interesting conspiracy theories I think you're all going to fucking love. I'm talking top tier shit about what's going on with the Chinese death plague. Oh, and I shouldn't call it that. Our little director of Who's going to have tears in his eyes because I called it the Chinese death plague. I can't assign a nationality or geolocation to it. We have to call it, COVID-19? Virus disease. What a great name. Virus disease, you redundant retard. COVID. Get out of here with that shit. It's the Chinese death plague. Or the Wu flu. One of the two. You can choose. I'm sure you've heard the news, but I think there are a few things that you might want to consider as we go forward. This becomes more and more apparent. Let's talk about the economic side of things. Everybody knows, or at least they should by now after 3 or 4 weeks of this shit being prolonged, that Chinese manufacturing and the whole globalism thing accounts for about 16%. A lot of companies use China to manufacture their shit because it's cheap and it's usually reliably done, as in punctual, not the best quality, but it's punctually done. Saw this happen with Apple, having to tell people they're not going to be able to put their products out anymore, and it hurt their stock because of it, or the valuation of their company. Luckily, Samsung avoided that narrowly because they had a slap fight with the Chinese government about a year before, and started moving some of their production outside of China. Unluckily for them, I think they put it into another kill zone, so I don't know how it's going to work out for them. But you have this massive country with 1.38 billion people producing a ton of shit using the whole just-in-time delivery method because globalism isn't that great. Nobody keeps raw materials anymore. We always expect it's going to be delivered the same day, taking that Amazon Prime fucking concept to the extreme. So all these factories shutting down are fucking with business. Then, of course, you've got the tourism industry, which is probably dead at this point. It's deader than the victims of the Wu flu. Who the fuck is going to get on a cruise ship after this? You couldn't give tickets away to that shit. Hey, congratulations, you've just won tickets to an all-expenses-paid cruise in Southeast Asia. Fuck you, no thank you. I think I'm going to go to the bowling alley. I think I'm going to go watch a drive-in movie instead. You take your $4,000 cruise and shove it up your ass. I'm not going to die in quarantine. So the cruise ship industry may as well just scuttle their own boats. That's done. At least for the foreseeable future, nobody's going to want to get on a fucking boat. And of course you have the airline industry already crying like a little bitch because their profits are getting just slashed all over the place. What is it, 60 billion lost already? Just because the flights in and out of China are being cut and nobody wants to touch it. All leading up to an estimated 1.1 trillion. That's trillion with a fucking T. Dollars in economic damage / loss. Talking about fucking negative GDP growth for China. Now you have people on CNBC and other financial analysts saying, oh, it'll be 3/4, 4/4 of this shit. It's not looking good financially. And as it spreads out and goes to other places, you're going to notice that. In fact, gamers, no more rising up for you. You're going to have to sit the fuck down. Because Sony's already canceled its appearance at pretty much every major event this year. No E3, no CES, none of that shit. They don't want to get contaminated either, and I don't fucking blame them. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, good luck getting your hands on one of those. If those parts aren't sourced from one of the contaminated zones, that's what I'm calling it. We'll call it a no-go Nurgle zone. If those parts aren't coming from one of their places, then they've performed fucking voodoo magic. So those console launches that everybody's looking forward to is either going to be really limited supply or it's not happening in 2020. I hope you like fucking PC gaming, or I hope you own a Switch. Because you're getting nothing. Nvidia is gone. It's dead. It's laying in a coffin next to a Chinese man at the crematorium in Wuhan. There goes your video game entertainment. Let's not forget Hollywood, that has decided the best economic plan for making profits when it comes to their movies is creating pure dog shit and then just unleashing it into Chinese theaters because fuck Americans and Europeans, we don't have to try anymore. Well, now nobody's going to those fucking theaters, and you can see the hit happening already. Birds of Prey tried to actually blame their shitty movie on the very fact that coronavirus is in full swing. Which technically, yeah, I mean, that's partially true. It's also, mostly true that Birds of Prey is shit and nobody wants to watch it. Nobody wants to watch a Sidekick movie. It'd be like if you said to me, hey Jim, do you want to go see a movie about Robin the Boy Wonder and the villain in the movie is going to be fucking Calendar Man? My answer is no. So Harley, shut the fuck up. Sit down like a good girl. The Joker's in charge. I know that's sexist, you can't say it, but the box office seems to be saying it. And I'd like to remind everybody, The Joker, one of the highest grossing rated R films of all time, didn't do business in China. Oscar award-winning Joker didn't have to go to China to make big bucks. But you could see that this economic strain is starting to spread. Now that it's hitting South Korea and Japan, prepare to see an impact on video games, on anime, on your favorite waifu fuck pillows. Those are going to be in short limited supply. They're going to have to tear them up and use the ass of Azuka to make koofing masks. Oh, your sacred waifu pillows are going to have to be used to prevent people from bleeding out of their mouth. Imagine the smell. Vietnam is already... Well, do they produce anything in Vietnam? Let's be honest. I don't know if they do or not. Mud bricks? Maybe. If you're in the mud brick industry, I suppose you're fucked. I don't know what you're going to do in that regard. You're kind of a little bit itty-bitty fucked in the mud brick industry. So the economic toll is definitely out there. But people like to ignore that. tenth of the world under quarantine. Nobody cares. $1.1 trillion in damage. Nobody cares. Two major industries, cruise lines and airlines, having big financial issues. Nobody cares. Video games and anime, maybe they're going to care. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that pans out as things go forward. So I'm watching this unfold, and I've been enjoying people with the empty bun philosophy, talking about how this isn't a big deal. It's only 75,000 people infected. It's only 2,000 people dead. Come on, Jim. What does it matter? Let me ask you something. If the Chinese government is reporting that there are only 300 or 400 cases each day now, with the magic communist math that they're using, why are they now building 10 more hospitals with 30,000 bed capacity? If you know that you're only getting 300 to 400 new cases, and you're saying that recoveries are starting to shoot up out of cases that already exist, why would you need an additional 30,000 beds? It doesn't seem to make sense, does it? That's on top of the already 3 emergency hospitals and the 8 to 10 converted auditoriums and stadiums that they've been using as makeshift hospitals. But now you need an extra 30,000 beds? For who exactly? Nobody's sick in China anymore. I've been watching the numbers as they come out. You're building 30,000 beds for 300 people? I don't know. It doesn't check out on my math, but I guess I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Maybe chat can help me out. Anybody want to crunch those fucking numbers for me? Maybe run them through? I'm having a little difficulty figuring this out. Why would you need 30,000 beds for such a small amount of people? Why? You know what else I really like too is the little windy.com maps, the SO2 sulfur maps or whatever, where people are saying, well, this is clearly evidence of bodies being burned. And then mainstream media is like, no, it's not. That's coal plants. And then the next day you get a CNBC article and others saying that coal consumption and coal generation is down 50% across the board. And then 2 days later after that, you get that there is some EPA reading saying that the pollution in China has been cut by 25%. And yet you've still got that giant fucking heat mark right in the middle. All the SO2. Oh, and then they order 40 mobile incinerators. I guess you're going to need a lot of those mobile incinerators when you open up the thousands upon thousands of apartment buildings that you've welded shut as you left people to die. We've already seen multiple stories of children dying, not from the disease itself, but from parents that had to go out because of policies enacted by the Chinese Communist government to go get their groceries or to be put into coof camps for quarantine. And what ends up happening to him? The kid starves to death. The kid falls out a fucking window. The kid gets hurt. The kid dies. There are numerous videos of people doing some pretty fucked up shit out there. One video of a lady stabbing a little girl to get her hand sanitizer. It seems like they're a bit unnerved right now in China. Telling everybody everything's going okay. Releasing statements like if a previous numbers that were reported, they'll be held accountable. We saw that happen with the 2 prisons where, 300 to 400 prisoners ended up getting sick and fucking with China's numbers. And so what happens? The guy reports it, and then the guy just disappears. Oh, they like making people disappear. In Hubei and the Hong Kong and Macau districts, they have new provincial leadership directly under our boy Winnie the Pooh calling the shots. So I'm sure that's going to work out fucking wonderfully for the people in those regions. You're not going to get real numbers from China, but you're going to start to see what this disease may behave like now that it's not contained behind an iron curtain. Now that you can see it finally kind of out in the open in countries that are going to be more open about what's going on, even if that openness is partially because they're handicapped. So where do we begin? Well, let's start with Iran, because I think Iran's the quicker one. Iran just one day decides to tell everybody, I fucking love this, and I'm not making it up. You can go look at the timeline in regards to what Iran does. Iran comes out and says, hey, we have 2 coronavirus patients. Just 2. And then 4 to 5 hours later, oh, they're both dead now. Our two patients are both, they're dead. We don't know, oops, whoopsie, we don't know what happened, but they're dead. And then the very next day, it looks like we've got more deaths and 17 more cases. And then what do they tell people? It's not just in Qom or whatever the name of the city is. It's in Tehran. It's in all the other cities. They actually said, we're pretty sure it's in every city, but we can't be fucked to deal with it right now because we have elections coming up. So let's let all our koofers get in line with all the uninfected people and just koof all over them. So more than likely, because they're already showing deaths and because you can look at how this plays out in every country it's been in, Iran's probably got a fuck ton of people that are sick, and now they've all lined up to vote. Brilliant! That can't turn out badly for anyone. Then you've got Japan with the fucking death boat anchored offshore. It has to deal with all these fucking sick people. Every time they send a goddamn quarantine officer in, somebody comes out sick. Surgeons in operating theaters are getting sick. People driving taxis are getting sick. When this hits big metropolitan urban areas, it does gangbusters, just like it did on that fucking ship. The closer in proximity, the more people are going to get affected. So Japan, its numbers are starting to slowly grow. We'll see where it goes, but I think the real money right now is in South Korea. It started off with, I'd say, 20 or 30 cases, and then in a day it gained 100 cases, and then 140 cases. It's just shooting up to the moon. Non-stop fucking ride to the stars. But there might be a reason, and I think you're all going to really enjoy this as we talk about the church and the super spreader. In fact, even before we get into Korea, I'd like to touch on that. I want to see if people in chat have recognized this play itself out. I've seen it about 3 times now. News will come out about how this disease behaves or actions that are being taken to prevent it. And everybody will say that's fictitious. It's not happening. It's not true. And then 3 or 4 days later, mainstream media comes out and says, oh, actually, it's totally true. Good example, incubation period. And this is one you can actually use America as an example for. One of the more recently diagnosed cases in California. A lady comes back from China on February 2nd, is federally mandated to do a self-quarantine at their home for 14 days. On the 16th, oh, we're done. Quarantine's over. Looks like everything's great. And then what happens? 3 days after the quarantine ends, 3 days after that, they test positive for fucking coronavirus. And this has happened multiple times. This 5-day to 14-day bullshit that people have been feeding everybody, you might want to wake the fuck up to the fact that that's not going to save anybody. This fucking thing incubates up to 24 days. And some people are saying even longer than that. There are more stories coming out about how it's 30 days or 31 days. What do you think is going to happen? Right now in California, there are 6,700 people self-quarantined in home isolation. They're going to be given the thumbs up by those doctors who are going to say, you're good to go. And they're going to be out in the streets of San Francisco and Los Angeles and San Diego. And then, 3 days later, 7 days later, 10 days later, they start getting a coof. But they're going to think, I'm fine, I don't have the coronavirus. Can't affect me, I got out of quarantine. I've been given the all clear. It's going to be a fucking hot zone in that state, especially when it hits the homeless population. It is going to tear through that fucking state. Every place that's implemented this retarded 14-day fucking quarantine rule has been bit in the ass by it. The Japanese have been bit in the ass by it. Cambodia just got bit in the ass by it. America looks like it's going to get bit in the ass by it. China for sure is going to get bit in the ass by it. That's why they keep extending their quarantine. That's why it went from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 5 weeks. Because they don't know what the fuck to do. And that's just with incubation. Then what were the other things? Remember, for the longest time, mainstream media and people were saying, There's no such thing as asymptomatic carriers that can spread this. We don't have any typhoid Marys. That's impossible. Turns out it's totally true. Turns out that they've actually found out that actually is a thing. That there's no such thing as reinfection. You can't get this twice in a row. Turns out, yeah, you can. Well, if you get the reinfection, you're not going to get sicker. Turns out, yeah, you are. Every time one of these pieces of information comes out, these assholes deny it, they delay the information by 3 or 4 days, and then the mainstream media pulls its head out of its fucking ass and tells people, yeah, guess what? You're going to get fucked. You've got a disease that mimics the flu and the cold, that has an incubation period of 24 or potentially more days, that if it doesn't drown you in your own lungs with acute respiratory distress syndrome, it will reinfect you and give you a fucking heart attack. And if, by chance, you survive that, it's going to affect your testicles so you never have children. But don't worry, it's not a biological weapon. It's a totally naturally occurring fucking horror story from the depths of hell that just decided to poof itself into existence. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Don't listen to Senator Cotton when he tells you it's a bioweapon. Don't listen to Marco Rubio or whoever the fuck it was today that was saying that China's full of shit. Don't listen to these Chinese scientists or different academics from around the world that are saying, hey, there's some fucked up shit about this thing. It makes me wonder if maybe it was man-made. Forget about the fact that there's the multiple institutions all centered around that wet market. I think the funniest fucking article I've read, I swear to God, I can't remember if it was who or who it was. Some news agency wanted to be just, bright and early with their bullshit. So they come out to the public and they make a little 10-minute video talking about the facts. Let's dispel the myths about coronavirus. And they said, what about bat soup? And the lady that answers it says, that's not true. It's a wet market. They got it at the wet market. And then they cut. But nobody asked the bitch, what is a wet market exactly? What do they sell at wet markets? Oh, animals. What do they do with those animals? Oh, they eat them. This isn't a fucking adoption center. It's not the fucking Humane Society. People aren't going to wet markets to adopt anteaters and bats. They're getting them for fucking ingredients. It's ludicrous. The amount of people that are trying to play the game where, oh, well, we don't know what's going on. We don't think that's true. And then 4 days later, well, it's true. We're sorry. That is going on. You've got the World Health Organization constantly running damage control for China, sucking its dick like it's a fucking hobby. Like it's the tastiest treat on earth. The ice cream man just came down singing a fucking song, jingle in that tune. As Andros, or whatever the fuck his name is, runs out there. Get a mouthful of that shit. I mean, why do I have to listen to dueling health agencies fight over basic shit? It's pretty apparent who dropped the ball. They effectively told everybody it was a nothing burger themselves in the beginning. Repeatedly told them that. Don't worry about it, not a big deal, just China. Just China affected, not a risk to the rest of the world. And then what happens? They change it and say, okay, it is a risk to the rest of the world, but China's glorious and beautiful. And Winnie the Pooh's penis pleases me greatly. So let's all applaud China for their transparency. What transparency? Who? The transparency to black bag journalists and put them in fucking coof camps? You remember the doctor that tried to blow the whistle and warn the world about this shit? Oh yeah, they basically arrested him. How about all those citizen journalists that showed people what's going on in Wuhan? Oh, they've disappeared, nobody's heard from them. What about the doctor that wrote an op-ed saying that Winnie the Pooh is a fucking retard and that this isn't being handled properly? Oh, he doesn't exist anymore. With Tiananmen Square, the guy that stood in front of those tanks, they were asked later on, hey, whatever happened to that guy? And you know what their answer was? Oh, we think he's alive. They never gave a name. They never said if he was alive. We think he's alive. That's the answer you're going to get when it comes to Chen and Fang and all these other people. All these people that have been black bagged. We think maybe. We think this might happen. We don't know. A lot of ifs and coulds in there. That's the transparency that who loves. Trusting numbers and definitions that change by the day. testing methodologies that change by the day. China knew how bad this was, and they withheld that information, and now we're all going to suffer for it to some degree, whether that's economically or our actual physical health, because they wanted to play this face-saving bullshit game. I'm sorry, I don't know how you're going to walk away from this not looking like complete incompetent idiots, because that's what you are, China. You're fucking morons. Either somebody ate a bat and cursed the world, or you released a bioweapon through sheer incompetence. But there's no way you're going to look good at the end of that story. Now, I know I've gone on a bit of a tangent from my original point, but I just wanted to see if you made that observation. If you've seen what I've seen when it comes to the media and these different health organizations, at first denying, and then admitting, and then here comes the press to back them up. All the shit that you're reading and seeing is coming to pass. They're behind everybody else by about a fucking week. Three days to a week. So that brings us back to South Korea. Cases are starting to grow, and we've got a lot of them coming from a church. But I'd like to stress the point that of the 134 cases or 143 cases that there were today, 90 of them came from a hospital. Not from the church, from a hospital. If you remember the Lancet article and other studies that had come out said that this thing spreads like wildfire in a hospital setting. Again, totally not a bioweapon, right? Let's not make something where when you go for treatment you get sick because of the proximity. But a lot of these did come from a super spreader. The superest of super spreaders puts the British guy to shame. I think she's gotten 50 or 60 people sick. Now, when you see South Korea talk about this particular church, this religious sect, this Christian sect, they keep calling it a cult. Why are they calling it a cult? Well, apparently the founder believes he's Jesus and Satan. It's like a twofer, it's a combo. Where they're telling people coming to church services, don't wear a mask, don't wear goggles. But there is one detail people are leaving out, and I think you're going to love this. Hold on to your asses. I think you're going to really love this part, chat. Yeah. Let me make sure I got the right one. It's buried in a New York Times article. It's just a little piece of information that makes this even more bizarre. So let's pull that up. Okay, here's the New York Times article. Talk about South Korea and the secretive, I can't pronounce this, Shinji, I'm going to call it the Shinji Church. The Shinji Church of Jesus worshippers that sit tightly packed together on the floor, forbidden from wearing glasses or face masks. Now, this was the group that's responsible for a fair amount of the people that are getting infected. I think they've upped the number now to, what is it? I don't even know. It's some ludicrous 500 of them are showing symptoms. So it's ground zero. It's the mecca of this shit that's going to spread throughout South Korea. But when you go through and they talk about how weird this church is and the amount of members that got together and how they're familiar with it and why it's so just bizarre and weird, talking about where the outbreak struck and patient 31, that's the designation of the person that got everybody fucking sick back on February 7th. That's when they went to the hospital, so plenty of time to run around. At least 1,000 members attended that day on those two Sunday services that this person attended. Brilliant, great, love it. But there's one piece, let's see if I can find it. Okay, buckle up, chat. You're going to fucking love this. Ready? Jung Yang, whatever, director of the Korea Center for Disease Control and Prevention said, authorities were investigating reports that the Shinji Church had operations in Hubei, the Chinese province that includes Wuhan, where the virus emerged. The South Korean news agency Newsys reported on Friday that Shinji opened a church in Wuhan last year, and the references to it have been removed from the website. Church officials could not immediately be reached for comment. So let's piece together a little conspiracy theory, something new, something interesting, something hasn't really been thought about. You've got a crazy religious sect that might be intentionally infecting themselves with the disease, and they were at ground zero. Now, if you know anything about cults, cults are really good at bringing people in. Now, I wonder, is it perhaps a possibility that they set this church up last year and that one of the newer members of that church might have been potentially somebody that worked at the Virology Institute or somebody that worked at the bio lab. Imagine if you're an insane cult that believes the apocalypse is coming and that your founder is Jesus/Satan. And then one of your newer members says, hey, I work in a virology lab where we create death plagues. Maybe I could share it with you. Maybe we could spread it to the world. Real death cult shit, that's right, chat. Just take a minute and really ponder the coincidence of a cult in South Korea spreading this intentionally, and that same cult being located at ground fucking zero, and then erasing all references to its existence in Wuhan. Yeah, we're talking some Resident Evil shit. That's right, chat. 12 Monkeys, we're going above and beyond. The meme magic on this shit is off the fucking charts. So I'd like you to enjoy that. That's my gift to you, chat. That's my gift to you. It's a nice thinking thought about the fact that maybe a death cult is responsible for a pandemic. That's the kind of shit you read in a book. But why would they be located at the source of the outbreak of the disease? Who are the members of this particular religious sect? Would they have been motivated to spur on the apocalypse because their founder believes he's the second coming of Christ waiting for the apocalypse? Would they have inside information? Oh my God, are there intentional super spreaders that are spreading this disease out there now that they've gotten the disease from their virology member? Oh, there's so many possibilities here. And it's not like that virology lab assistant, let's say, would be open about being a member of a church. Remember, this is communist China. They'd keep that shit on the down low. In fact, maybe nobody knew. It'll be a mystery for the ages. But I'm gonna enjoy that saga playing itself out in the background. So, Japan and Korea really got the short end of the stick. Japan got stuck with a bunch of cruise ship passengers that are all sick as shit, infecting fucking everybody, and now they've got to deal with it and put them in the hospitals, and the hospitals are going to infect other people. And Korea's got an insane cult that's spreading this shit for the fun of it. Because it's all giggles. It's all giggles and laughs. Apparently. And then what else happens today? Well, we've got cases in Italy. 17 of them just popped up out of nowhere. And that's where the white immunity myth dies. It dies with the 70-year-old Italian man that died of the disease in Italy. And there's a CNBC clip out there, I'll probably play it later on if I can find it here, of somebody saying, talking about how, not just with Italy, but like with Iran, with the British person, or not the British person, the Canadian that came from overseas. They traveled from Iran back to Canada, calling it a different strain. They're already talking about mutations. Like there are multiple versions of this shit out there now. What are you going to do? There's only so much remdesivir that Gilead Sciences can crank out of its asshole. And there's only so much Caletra and Alluvia AIDS medicine that you can take. By the way, should we talk for a second about some of the medications you're going to be taking when you get this wonderful disease? Because I don't think they're really cluing people in on the fucking side effects of some of this shit. So you've got your AIDS cocktail, Caletra and Alluvia. It's got other names, Lipernor or whatever the fuck it is. Then you've got massive amounts of steroids because they need to do that when they intubate you and put you on a little beep machine. So we've got antibiotics, of course. Let's throw a bunch of those in there. Then they're giving you cancer medicine. Can I find the name of this particular cancer medicine? Maybe if I can. It's got some interesting side effects. But the newest one, the newest hottest shit on the scene for treating this disease is antiparasiticals, malaria medicine. So here you are, you go into the hospital with your coofs. Remember, it's just a flu, bro. And the doctor says to you with a straight face, I'm not shitting you, oh, you've got a really bad cough, and we did an x-ray, and it looks like you got a touch of pneumonia. So I'm going to give you some AIDS medicine, some cancer medicine, some antiparasitical medicine. I'm going to put you on, I'm going to intubate you, I'm going to sedate you, and then I'm going to crank you full of as much steroids as I think we can physically get away with. And then we're going to hope that you survive that. We're gonna, oh, and I should mention the malaria medicine we're giving you. That has a potential to make you go deaf and blind. So you may survive this, but never see or hear anything ever again. It's going to make you itch like a motherfucker. Hopefully you're not going to feel that with the intubation tube making you want to scream as we jam that down your throat. Oh, and enjoy that cancer medicine too. That's got all kinds of wonderful side effects to it. Oh, the only thing they're missing are antifungals. That's one of the things that I think worries me the most about this. You keep hearing everybody talk about treatment options, and it's great that they're looking for different drugs and treatments. But it's starting to sound like they're just throwing everything at it. Just literally everything. Antivirals, antiparasiticals, antibiotics, steroids. We're going to ventilate you. They're starting to run out of options. They're going to have to go to more extreme shit. The stuff that's got the really, really bad side effects that nobody uses unless it's like the last fucking resort, gun against your head, back against the wall kind of shit. Or you could take experimental medicine, like remdesivir from Gilead, but you have to sign a compassionate use waiver, basically saying you absolve them of any legal liabilities if it makes you grow tits and your head falls off. Because it's experimental. Nobody knows what it's going to do long term. I mean, it's a fucking drug that was made to fight Ebola. So Ebola medicine, what is this treatment regimen? AIDS medicine, cancer medicine, Ebola medicine, malaria medicine, and steroids. And a sprinkling on the top of antibiotics. What kind of nightmare shit did they cook up in this fucking lab? China, what are you doing? I know everybody says, oh, stop saying it's cooked up in the lab. That's not fair. You have no proof of that, even though multiple people have been looking at this thing and saying it's not natural. Whatever. We'll go with possibility number 2. Hey, you know what, Jim? You're wrong. This wasn't an intentional bioweapon. Instead, what happened, and this is a completely reasonable thing that might happen if you work at a bio level 4 lab facility. I can't believe this has been printed. I don't even want to spoil it. Let me show you what option number. We've got a few options. 1, this magically came into existence. 2, this is a bioweapon that got out of control. Or 3, this is your third option. Bat attack, coronavirus. And I love this part. Experts say, when you're talking about getting pissed on by a bat after it bites you, you need an expert to really back you up on that. Experts say men have been pissed on by bats. Let's take a look at this. The coronavirus could have spread from a Wuhan laboratory which housed 600 bats which attacked and pissed on scientists. One researcher at the Wuhan Center for Disease Control, who was urinated on, he also had bat blood on his skin and was forced to quarantine himself. An academic journal says. What was it? This guy? Let's read more. Scientists at South China University of Technology in Guangzhou believe the lab could possibly be the origin of the deadly pandemic. Located 300 yards from the infamous Wuhan food market, where the Chinese government claims the outbreak began. This is written by Botox and Lay. The research journal claimed the WCDC hosted animals in laboratories for research purposes, including 607 bats captured in a nearby province. The paper, titled "The Possible Origin of nCoV," reports that one researcher, named Tian, was once attacked by bats, and that the blood of the bat was on his skin. According to the journal, Tian isolated himself, I love this movie, for 28 days after the bats peed on him. How'd you like that on your fucking job resume? He isolated himself for 28 days after the bats pissed on him. So I guess you could say 28 days later, the virus and the contagion began. The paper states the Chinese horseshoe bats were natural reservoirs of the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, which caused a SARS outbreak in 2003. Here's a beautiful picture of the fucking wet market. I think they just ripped the head off a fucking bull and he's bagging it up for me. I'd like a whole head. Just throw it on in there for me. So, chat, you tell me. Did some dude named Tien end the world because a bat pissed in his mouth? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I could understand now why China's being so fucking secretive about it. It's kind of embarrassing. How do you tell the world that you're responsible for the apocalypse because one of your guys got pissed on and then isolated himself for 28 days? Oh, there's so many fun theories about this. So what was it? Is it a bioweapon that escaped? Is it a vaccine that's gone wrong? Was a man pissed on by a bat? Is it a South Korean cult trying to end the world? I don't know what it is, but it sure is happening. Given the estimates right now, at least in the United States, and this isn't the confirmed cases, these are the isolated cases, people that have been brought back over and told to self-isolate. What do you have? You have probably 10,000 people. 6,700 in California, 700 in Washington, hundreds in Oregon, hundreds in New York. It wouldn't surprise me if right now there are 10,000 or more people in self-isolation, a 14-day quarantine that's ineffective because the disease has an incubation period of pretty much fucking double that. I don't know where this is going, but I find it entertaining and a little terrifying, to be honest. Because that white immunity doesn't exist, apparently, and we're all going to die. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chat, how do you get pissed on by a bat? How do you even let that happen? What are you doing that allows that to happen? And why are these people not taking it seriously? Why would Iran let its citizens go out and vote when they know that there are so many infected in multiple cities? Why would protesters go on the street of Seoul in South Korea because they're pissed off about something, knowing that the infection is spreading? Why are the only countries out there really doing anything are the ones that most people... So you've got Russia shutting down travel and locking its border. You've got Mongolia shutting down travel and locking its border. Israel said nobody from China, and then it put limitations on people coming from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Macau. You've got Saudi Arabia putting limitations on Iran. You've got Kuwait doing the same. Iraq and Afghanistan doing the same. North Korea's basically locked itself down. I mean, when you hear this many nations talking about border crossings being closed, travel in and out being closed, selectively letting people in or putting them in quarantine if they do come in, when do you think people are going to realize things have tilted a little bit and that it is getting worse and that it might not be an apocalyptic event? I'm not saying 100% of the human race is going to get wiped out, but the longer it goes on and the sicker people get and the more disrupted the economy gets, the worse it is for everyone. Because we live under this stupid idea of globalization where you can't make a fucking thing in one place and get the supplies for it in one place. You've got to get a piece in China and then ship it to Mexico so they can build the component that gets shipped to Denmark, and Denmark can add something to it and ship it back to America. Rather than just having one fucking place do the whole goddamn process. But no, let's have our drugs made here, let's have our cars made there, let's have our laptops over there, let's have all this shit spread out everywhere. So when each of these countries goes dark, we get to deal with it. And then you talk about quarantines. Not just restrictions on travel, not the Russias and the Israels and the Kuwaits and all of them. But you talk about lockdowns in cities. Well, China's still locking down a ton of stuff, even though they want to force people back to work. Now there are 10 cities in Italy with a total population, I think they said, of what, 50,000 people, that are locking down all their public gatherings, businesses, bakeries, schools, and all of that. You've got Iran considering locking down Qum, or whatever it is. You've got a city just outside of Hanoi in Vietnam with a population of, I think, 10,000 that's completely locked down. So it's starting to pick up everywhere. And the things that you would think would make people go, well, shit, that seems like it's probably not great, they're just oblivious to. It's really remarkable to me, the amount of people that have completely tuned it out, waiting for it to basically get dropped on their doorstep waiting for it just to turn apocalyptic before they finally have an issue with it. Case in point. Let's talk about the CDC and their numbers. Let's talk about the news media and how ludicrous and retarded they are. Somebody explain this to me. Let's take a look at this tweet from CBS from Los Angeles. And tell me if you notice a problem with this particular tweet. Make sure it's all, there we go. Remember, CDC said there are 13 currently confirmed cases of coronavirus in the United States. Not self-isolation, not suspected, confirmed. But here's what CBS is reporting. The city of Costa Mesa is seeking to block the transfer of up to 70 confirmed coronavirus patients from near Sacramento to the former Fairview Development Center. So wait, do we have 13 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the U.S., or do we have 70 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the U.S.? And why are we transferring them from one fucking city to the next? This isn't like sending them to, Nebraska, where they've got an Ebola lab built with special fucking air ventilation that will seal off the rooms and the hallways and prevent spreadage. So where are these 70 people coming from? And why is the news media reporting that? I mean, somebody fucked up one place or the other. Either the government fucked up in its counting ability, or the news media is pants on head retarded. But then they'll go on to tell you you're being a little too worked up about this when they're misprinting shit like this. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm living in clown world with really basic bitch shit, and I don't understand it. Oh, here's the details on the 10 towns in Italy that have been locked down. To give you an idea of what you can look forward to when it comes to America, you're probably going to see this happen. Residents are asked to stay at home for 1 week. All public events are suspended. No work or commercial activities. No recreational activities. All schools are closed. All public transport is stopped. So basically, sit in your fucking house and do nothing for a week. And I don't know how recreational. Can I play my video games in my room? Is that permissible, Italy? I don't know if that's allowed anymore. There was one though that really, I think. Oh God, I hope I can find this. It's gonna bother me if I can't. Oh yeah, I've got a couple. We got a couple things, but I want to find this first if I can. Sorry, chat. This is a laid back, unorganized stream, so I'm just being a lazy little boy about it. There's so much shit happening, I can't even find my own stuff anymore. I can probably search it if I really have to. That's them liquidating people. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. Remember, news came out from the Military Times talking about the U.S. military preparing for a pandemic. You had the CDC come out today, right, and tell everybody that this is a serious, grave threat to the public health, and that it's not just probable that human-to-human transmission is going to begin in the United States, but most likely that it's going to, and that they're going to start working on pandemic plans for how cities should handle this. All right, so the CDC is now publicly coming out, and basically that's a very diplomatic, political way of telling you shit's about to hit the fan, get ready. And the military's already been doing shit in the background. But here's something interesting that popped up before the CDC announcement, and I think it's quite telling. Just a requisition order, just out of nowhere, a little small story. I know it's a little skewed. I'll read it for you nonetheless. FBI has ordered $40,000 in hand sanitizer and face masks. The FBI placed the order in case the coronavirus becomes a pandemic in the U.S., according to the acquisition document. The FBI's pandemic preparedness supply order included face masks manufactured from 3M and disinfectants, including hand sanitizer from PDI Healthcare. In its purchase order, the FBI said it needed to have those items on hand if the virus spreads widely through the U.S. The masks and disinfectants are to be stored throughout the U.S. for distribution in the event of a declared pandemic. This is the best part. Really listen to this one. According to the document, which was signed Friday, they gave the companies 1 week to fulfill the order. So if there's nothing to worry about, if this is all just smoke and mirrors, why would the FBI say, we need you to supply us with $40,000 worth of masks and hand sanitizer, and you got a fucking week to do it? We need that shit now. So the military's getting ready. We've got 15 bases across the country that are set up for quarantine. We have the CDC preparing quarantine plans, or at least suggestions for what cities can do if something bad happens. And then in the background, you have the FBI placing requisition orders and giving companies a timeline of 1 fucking week to get this shit done. Just a cold, bro. I love how their justification is. It's just, hey, maybe something bad might happen. Get it done in a week. It's for the, we don't want you to worry. Okay, we're not saying pandemic is coming. We're just saying we need this by Friday. We need this immediately. You need to do this now. Oh, what in the fuck? I tell you, it's oh, here's another one. Why not? Let me give you some more bad news when it comes to reinfection. This is one that was spreading around earlier. Coronavirus patient discharged following recovery in the Sichuan province has been readmitted after testing positive again during the quarantine period at home, said local health authority on Friday, adding that similar cases have been reported in other regions. So China itself is saying people are being reinfected. Now, it's not just maybe it's happening. That's China saying that that's happening. Remarkable. Absolutely just fucking remarkable. But of course, if you listen to the news media, or if you listen to even health experts from WHO from the past week, everything that you're seeing happen now and being confirmed by different countries or China itself, they've said, no, that's not true. That can't possibly happen. And yet, here we are. Here we are as it keeps going on. What did Nancy Messonnier, CDC official, say? We are working with state, local, and territorial health departments to ready our public workforce to respond to local cases and the possibility this outbreak could become a pandemic. It sure seems like a lot of people are getting ready for the possibility that this becomes a fucking pandemic. I don't blame them. I'm sure they're watching what's happening in South Korea right now and thinking, fuck. All it takes is one asshole to become a biobomb, walking himself through a fucking metropolitan area and getting people infected. But there was one more. The most infuriating shit you're ever going to see. Let me pull this up for you. This is somebody that was on the Diamond Princess. I want you to listen to what this absolute piece of filth said when it comes to... Well, I don't even want to spoil it. Make sure it's centered. Okay, just listen to this shit, chat. It makes my blood boil.
Sir Ronnie Goldman is with me now from Omaha, Nebraska, by way of Skype. And Jerry, good afternoon to you. One of those stranded in Japan. Thank you for being here. How's your husband? I understand he is not well. Does he have this virus, Jerry?
We're hoping to hear in the next hour, as for myself, too. So we do not know yet. We were tested in Japan and never got the results back, and we made up the story that we were clear. And then on the flight overnight, he came down with a fever.
So this bitch and her husband, this absolute piece of filth, gets tested and lies to the authorities and that we made up the story that we're clear, that the results we got say we don't have anything, even though we didn't get the results. And then we got on a plane with a bunch of other people, and what do you know, we're sick. So these pieces of shit lied about their fucking status of being infected, lied about their test results, got onto a fucking plane, and infected a bunch of other goddamn people. There has to be a punishment for that. You can't let somebody do that and get away with it, or a bunch of people are going to do that. Fucking boomers. The sense of self-entitlement of this bitch and her husband, of thinking they can make up a story, pull that kind of shit off, and that everybody's just going to deal with it and it's going to be okay. Mind-boggling. Just made it up. Made it up. We made it up fictitious. We told them Japan said we're healthy. Let us on the airplane. Oh, fucking hell. And you wonder why you see videos of people in Ukraine throwing bricks through fucking bus windows and lighting shit on fire. It's probably because of people like Nancy there. Little Miss Karen. Let me see your manager. Nobody wants to get infected with this shit. And the more countries it spreads to, the more freaked out people get. And the bigger the economic impact of it is. But really, just for a second, just look at all the things lined up and just ask yourself, do you think it's turning out well? Half of China, 1/10 of the world, is under lockdown. 4 other countries have cities under lockdown. $1.1 trillion in damage. Quarantines are being put in effect that are 10 days short of the total incubation period. Thousands of people are going to be let out of quarantine and potentially still be sick. And we've already seen that happen once, confirmed in the U.S. The disease can reinfect you. The disease attacks you in different ways when you get it a different time. There aren't enough hospitals. This happened in South Korea with just 150 cases in the city of Dagao or whatever it's called. They said they were already short on suitable beds. They have 17 hospitals in a city of 2.5 million people, and they could not handle 150 cases. What do you think they're going to do when it's 1,000 or 5,000? It's going to be fucking bedlam. Now, I don't know if they're going to take the approach China did and lock everything down and have people with guns walking on the street. But you're going to get people that are going to lie about shit like that lady did. You're going to get people that are going to underreport their symptoms. You're going to get people that are going to try to go to different areas. And when this happens in the U.S., it's going to be a shit show in the metropolitan areas. I pity you if you live on the East or the West Coast and this thing kicks off. If you're in California in one of those big cities, if you're in New York in one of those big cities, you are fucked. There's no way the hospital's going to be able to accommodate you. If you go to the hospital, you're going to get sicker. If you didn't have the fucking thing and you show up to get checked, chances are you're going to have it by the time you leave. And it's just going to spread and spread and spread. And spread it will. It's not just aerosolized, airborne. It's not just touching shit. It doesn't just live on surfaces for 9 days. Apparently poop fumes do it too. So I guess if you cut ass, if you rip a really loud fart, you're going to infect everybody around you. And those poop fumes, that airborne fecal matter, it's just going to waft into people and infect them. That's one of the reasons they believe that the Death Princess, the ship moored off of Japan, got everybody so fucking sick is the poop fumes. Who made this? What mad scientist makes this? You couldn't make this in Plague Inc. You'd have to cheat to put these kind of fucking this combination together of this weird fucking thing. You know, one of the interesting things, you might want to do it later if you have a chance, because they said that malaria medicine seems to have a really good effect on this disease. Go compare the CDC malaria map, outbreak map, to the area of infected with coronavirus and overlay it. And what you'll see is that areas that are heavy in malaria and therefore heavy with people that are being treated with anti-malaria drugs really have no cases of coronavirus. I don't think it has anything to do with temperature. I think it's these motherfuckers have been taking this medicine, this anti-parasitical, and it's given them a buffer. Because you've got a large area of India, a lot of Africa, and a good portion of South America, and none of those are affected. It's very weird. It's very weird how those maps overlay with one another. Yes, chat, death farts. Death by poo. Death by poo in the loo disease. Yes. I don't know. Jesus. This thing is such a nightmare. It's just a nightmare disease. But remember, it's an empty bun. It's a nothing burger. That's what you're going to be told. People are going to keep telling you it's an empty burger as store shelves become limited on their the option of what they have stocked. They're going to tell you it's an empty bun as all those masks that you might want, or the hand sanitizer, or the Dettol, or the plastic gloves, as those suddenly disappear. They're going to tell you it's a nothing burger when the first U.S. city gets locked down. They're going to tell you it's a nothing burger when the cases start to spread or South Korea gets out of control. They're going to tell you it's a nothing burger when you don't get your game consoles because nobody can manufacture them because half the countries that would are dealing with this fucking death plague. Now, China is in the midst of pushing people back to work, saying that you have to go back to work, and if you get coronavirus, that's not anybody's fault but your own now. So they're going to send people back into the fucking factories. Some asshole's going to coof, and it's going to start all over again. Except maybe this time they get reinfected. Instead of having lung problems, they have a fucking heart attack. So potentially, you maybe might encounter ordering a product from China and somebody's decapitated head's in the box because they fell on the fucking conveyor belt line at the factory from the heart attack they had from being reinfected from coronavirus, and they push plate or some fucking machine chopped it off. I don't know. It'll show up fresh. Everybody arguing about the time this thing lives on surfaces. What is it? Upwards of 9 days, depending on the surface type. Even longer if it's like the smoothest shit that's ever existed. Think about all the shit that you order online. Can you verify where it comes from? Do you know there's a town in China called America? Just so when they manufacture shit, they can say it's made in America? You ever wonder if maybe one of those made in America products you bought off Amazon was actually made in America, China, and not America, America? Good luck ordering shit off Amazon. It's Russian roulette at this point. I mean, you have to appreciate God's sense of humor, I think, a little bit. And the idea that the apocalypse might happen because some dude had a bat piss on him. I mean, there is humor in that. There's also humor in the fact that some crazy death cult might have somehow unleashed this on the world. There's humor in the fact that this is a bioweapon some idiot dropped and didn't tell anybody about. There's also humor in the fact that somebody ate a bat's asshole and now the world's going to burn. Really, any of these options are quite comical. It's a comedy of errors. It's the sort of thing you want to go out on, I guess. Leave them with a laugh. Put a smile on their face before you slam the door shut. I don't even want to go look at. Every time I look at BNO's Twitter, it's some more dire fucking news. Let's go see what horror story they have updating right now. Okay, we're finally done for the day of horrible shit happening. Yeah, the total in South Korea right now, 346 cases. And I know they had more of those coming from, I know they break it down, where they talked about how many came. Okay, here we go. 92 of the cases linked to the hospital, 38 to the church, and I love this, 12 of them are unknown. They don't know. The only country that's really been great about monitoring the clusters and the line or succession of infection has been Singapore. In fact, Singapore, like half their people have recovered already, and they only have 5 critical, and nobody's died yet. But I think that's because they dealt with SARS before, and they have a really good healthcare system, and they don't want to get destroyed. They're a city on an island. They can't really fuck this one up. They don't have anywhere to run. But just 12 unknowns. 12 unknown. Where did they come from? We don't know. Italy getting 18 fucking infections in a day. Brilliant. And a death. And Iran having deaths happen too. Also, somebody brought up a great point. I'm going to double check this because I didn't even bother to check if this was true or not. But let's do it right now. Okay, brilliant. Would you like to know what the temperature in Singapore is right now? Remember, all the brilliant fucking experts out there said, hey, wait till the warm weather comes, because once that warm weather comes, we're not going to have any infections. It's a nice, cool, ice cold 89 degrees fucking Fahrenheit in Singapore right now. Singapore, the place that has 80 fucking cases of this. So 80 plus cases of this in 90 degree weather. I don't think this is going to disappear because it gets a little bit warmer in April. I think President Trump might be a little wrong on that. If he's expecting a slight warming up of the weather to have any impact when a fucking nation that basically lives in an oven is having problems. And let's not forget Australia. I'm sure it's not icy cold down there either, with the hellscape tornadoes of fire that are nonstop and the burning kangaroos around every fucking corner. We're all going to have to take AIDS medicine to survive this. What the fuck? Oh, you're all going to have to. Oh, we're going to be sitting next to the gift givers. They're going to be laughing at us. They're gonna laugh so hard. All those AIDS jokes you guys made. Real funny shit, huh? Oh, do you need a little Alluvia? You need a little Caletra? Oh, tell me another AIDS joke, asshole. Make another gift giver joke, funny man. There, yeah, here it is. Here's your little. I got you a little bag of AIDS medicine. Tell me another one about gay butt sex. Oh, yeah. Who's laughing now, motherfucker? It's clown world. We live in clown world. I don't know what to tell you, Chad. It's a hell of a thing. Usually when I do these streams, I'd be more prepared. I have a bunch of clips to show you and shit, and news articles and all that stuff. But I figure we could just talk about what's been going on. Why not? It's 2 in the morning where I am. And whoever it was that asked, hey, do you want to do a stream? Well, there you go. You've got your stream. We talked about the happenings that are happening out there. But realistically, how long into this are we? I mean, technically, China, at first they said, oh, this appeared in December, right? But now people, even people in China, are saying, no. We think this might have actually began in November. So it could, I don't know. Let's just say December 1st was when this shit started. So we're almost, Jesus Christ, we're approaching, let's see, the amount of time that we're into this should be controlled by now, I guess is what I'm getting at. If this started on December 1st and all the things that China has done, all these lockdowns, and it's still not gone. All these travel restrictions, and it's still not gone. All these police actions, and it's still not gone. The virus doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need to hop on an airplane. It's not scared of a police or army gun. It's not worried about you closing a border. This fucking thing's going to do what it wants. And what it likes to do right now is be a lazy asshole, hang around in your body for a fucking month, and then pop up and say, hey, everybody, you're all going to die. And then you sneeze on a doorknob and everybody else gets infected. Or you're hiding in a fucking closet because the South Korean cult of Christ koofers have decided to spread the gift to everybody. How do you contain it? How do you stop it? And I guess that brings me to my final point about this nightmare shit. Look at the reaction we've seen so far. Look at the economic damage. Look at the damage on a country's infrastructures and the unease that you're starting to see spread and proliferate all over the place. And then remember, it's seasonal. John Hopkins is saying that. The CDC people are saying that. The Chinese scientists are saying that. So how do we deal with this? Next year, are we going to be locking cities down? Next year, are we going to be going through coof camps? Next year, are we going to suffer $1.1 trillion in economic damage? Can the cruise line industry survive this happening seasonally? Can the airlines survive it? The range on when a vaccine is going to be possible, it's all over the fucking place. I mean, even if you have people, all these bullshit stories about, oh, we've got a vaccine already. Fuck you. First, you have to do clinical trials. Then you've got to produce it. Then you got to get it approved. Then you got to fucking get it out to the public. So it's a year to get this dealt with. And who knows what this crazy shit's going to do in the meantime. How far it's going to spread, what weird fucking variations or mutations it's going to take on. I don't fucking know. Nobody does. This is dirty. Corona Chan's a dirty girl. She doesn't play by the rules. She makes her own rules. I don't know who China pissed off, but Xi Jinping, the glorious leader of China, Winnie the Pooh pissed off some god out there, and I don't know which one it is, but it's one of them. Because they had swine fever kill off all their pigs. And then they had the bird flu wipe out their poultry industry. And then they got Corona Chan that crippled their citizenry and their economy. And now all the locust horde from Africa, for whatever reason, decided it wanted to go to China, and now it's in China. So, is he like a modern day pharaoh? Are we on plague 4 of this shit? Swine fever, bird flu, coronavirus, a plague of locusts. What did Winnie the Pooh do? Whose honey did he steal that we find ourselves in this position? Because China pissed somebody off. They pissed somebody off with a little bit of zazz, a little bit of moxie, some pep in their step. It's like God decided one day, hey, all these assholes on Earth don't think I exist anymore. I'm going to pick the most atheist nation there is, and I'm just going to fuck their shit into the dirt until people will acknowledge me. Maybe. Are we going to read next week, is a burning bush going to appear in Beijing and start shit-talking Chinese people? Because that's that's where we're going. Oh. And then there was a story that they were releasing 100,000 ducks to battle the locusts. I bet you all those ducks are going to die of bird flu. I bet you every one of those ducks, knowing China's luck at the moment, every one of those fucking ducks is going to die of bird flu before a locust even shows up. Oh, chat, yeah, no, I see some people saying, oh, China said it was going to rewrite the Bible. Oh, it goes deeper than that. China was also going to, what is it? There's a term for it. Xi Jinping sayings or philosophies. They wanted to replace the Ten Commandments with Winnie the Pooh's personal writings and they were going to have him make the Ten Commandments. And then they were going to rewrite the Bible to make it more communist as well as rewrite the Quran. And then the guy they put in charge of Hong Kong is a guy famous for tearing crosses off of churches. And then also, I guess, when he declared himself God at some point, because there is a story that says he did that. So he picked a fight with the wrong one. Now, I don't know if that's Yahweh or Allah, but somebody's pissed at him. You got all the Uyghurs in camps. Maybe it's Allah. All I know is China is fucked. But we're all going to suffer for it. But again, I find it funny that this all started because potentially, it maybe all started because a bat pissed on some dude. Got a little bat urine on his face, and now the world's going to burn. Okay, chat. Well, I think we're caught up. I know it's a very early stream. Oh my god, 2 in the morning. Well, this is probably fine for people in Europe, but everybody else is like, what the fuck, this is too early. It's too early to be streaming about this shit, Jim. You need to talk about anime. You need to talk about funny shit on the internet. Well, there's a lot of funny shit going on. I grant you that, and I do watch some of it in my downtime. But I'm all in on this, at least until it peters out. No, I didn't know where it was going to go. I mean, remember, it's an empty bun. It's a nothing burger. We've been told that. So I thought, oh, it'll be over in a week. Right? That's what I'm being told. And here we are. I started following this. I think the first stream I did was, it's almost been a month. The first stream I did was about this time last month. Because it's been 30 days of this. And it doesn't stop. It just keeps growing. So we'll find out where it goes and what happens to it. But I don't know. I don't know. When you're in this situation, you never know. Is it the happening? Is it really happening? Oh, you can never tell. I'd say maybe it doesn't hurt to be a little prepared. Not saying go crazy, but maybe get some things in order just ahead of time in case shit hits the fan, just so you're not completely caught off guard. Now, you don't need to dig a 40-foot deep bunker, but maybe spend $5 and get a 3M mask just so you got it on hand. Maybe a bag of rice or something. just in case. Just have it sitting around the house. Some lima beans, shit like that. We'll see, though. We'll see where it goes. Maybe it burns out. I keep saying that at the end of every stream. I've said that Always hedge your bets. Maybe it burns out, but it doesn't seem like it is. It doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's not pleasant. All right, so let's go to have some super chats. So we'll do that. Everybody that came by for the 2 or the 1 a.m. stream talking about doom and gloom, there you go. Hope you enjoy your weekend now. Don't let anybody coof on you. Stay away from the koofers, especially the koofer cult. All right, it's not just the Chinese you got to be scared of. It's those South Korean koofer cultists that are out there spreading the gift intentionally, apparently. So keep your eyes peeled for them. Now, for everybody else, we'll go through the super chats. I'll do that now. Load it up. Where are we here? Let me just pull it up. Okay. Have a sip here. Voice is getting a little hoarse. Maybe one of the Kufr cultists got me and I didn't recognize it in time. And now I'm going to die. I'm going to be like that guy in Italy. From Jesus Banda, Jimbo. I failed my CCN security exam. The fat bitch sitting behind me was koofing. Send Corona cleansing squads. Well, I think it's already too late if you've been koofed on. Now you're going to have to wait it out. At least 30 days. Victor Phantasm. Boss, when all the Asians go extinct, how much will Asian sperm and eggs go up in value? This is some Death Stranding shit. Stonks. Well, I'd say, I don't know how much it would go up in value. I'm going to be honest with you. What would you pay for some Asian sperm if there are no more Asian people? You know, by the time we'd be considering if it wiped out all Asians, we'd probably be too busy building sex robots. I don't know if we'd really dedicate the resources. Do you really want to resurrect China if they end the world? It's not really at the top of the list, is it? From Nick Zadik. How do I get my child to stop koofing all over his sheets? Please, Jim, this is serious. I'd say run from the house if he's koofing everywhere. But you're probably already infected. Casper the Ghoul. My face when Kathy got banned on Instagram and Twitter for CP. Yeah, I watched that transpire, I guess, or the tail end of it. Nobody really went into great detail. I know that she was posting, I guess, lewds of other Twitter people, and there were a bunch of fucking allegations about that shit. So I don't know what's going on with Kathy Zoo, but I heard she got banned from multiple places for getting very ass mad in her slap fight with other girls on the internet. All because apparently somebody made a bat soup joke like 3 weeks ago. From Mike Oxlong, I had to sell another gallon of my sperm to pay for rent this month. I made a little extra money to spare for my favorite weatherman. Thank you. Rebecca Asbear? That cannot be how you pronounce your last name, but it seems to be how it's spelled. Oh, I love my inability to read names. I'm just going to go with Asbear. And if you don't pronounce your last name like that, Rebecca, you need to start calling yourself Rebecca Asbear. Why so late, Jim? Did you relocate? Yes, I'm inside my coof containment zone. No koofs can get me. From Doom Guy, Ebola Red Corona Blue. It's not COVID-19, it's the Woo flu. From Mixstar, the Ultramarine Suck. I win Jacob Salamanders for the win. Friendly Neighborhood Sunwheel. Can you say happy birthday to my girlfriend Heather Nibba? Well, happy birthday, Heather Nibba, from your friendly Neighborhood Sunwheel. Good day, lads. Says, start talking about entertaining stuff again, you mong. I'd say this is entertaining. It's entertaining to me, and that's all I give a shit about. From Hi Matlas, Serpentenza from ADV China Rats Out China, no pun intended, on how this all started. He's telling all after a refugee under the freedom. Okay, so I've heard people talk about him and another guy, and I didn't know who they were. But then I saw some of their videos, and I was like, wait, aren't those the dudes that would like motorcycle through China? And I have seen their videos before. And I'm fairly certain, didn't both of them, like, they moved from China, they moved out of China, like, just at the perfect time before this shit really kicked off, didn't they? If so, that is the luckiest shit on earth. Because I think, didn't they say they, like, left in November? So lucky if that's true. From Alec Majorson, This is Jade. Can I come in? It's so cold. Koof koof. I swear it's just the flu, Jim Sama. Victor Phantasm Boss. During the apocalypse, what currencies will you accept for super chats? Gas, elderberries, canned food, propane, fresh water, and what station on the ham radio can we listen in on? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. You're probably not going to listen to shit on the ham radio because everybody's taking down their repeaters. Didn't that happen in California? California passed some bizarre law where you can't have a ham radio repeater. You know, the thing that lets you boost your signal from like 2 miles or 3 miles to like 30, and started taking them down for no fucking reason. So in regards to that, I don't know what you're going to do. And elderberries would be nice. You know, elderberries taste really good. It's that whole bad for you thing that makes it difficult to get a hold of. From Aeronautical Ginger, I missed 3 streams. Here are my dues. Also, did you know that Sargon of It depends on the child lost his channel? Who's going to save the West now? Sargon lost? No, he didn't. Did he? How the fuck could Sargon... Hold on, let me check. You're fucking with me. Okay, see, I'm looking at his channel right now. It's still up. Or did he lose like some secondary channel? What are we talking about? I'll have to wait for chat to catch up. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it gone, so... Unless it was like some second burner channel or something, I don't know. Veggie Bad, look on the bright side. Survivors will get excellent job opportunities. Unemployment will fall straight through the floor. That's very true. From Boba Bickle, Corona will end the needless suffering of mankind. From Volfin, destroy all black people at all costs. I guess Volfin's out there starting some fights. Oh, let's see if chat's caught up now. No, yeah, it doesn't look like the channel's gone to me. So, is it another channel he had that's gone? Oh, I've been trolled. Chat told me I've been trolled. I've been epically owned. From KF, just got home from consuming alcohol. Nice timing. Also, you should get on Nazi terrorist Telegram. It's full of Ram Ranch memes. Yeah, I think I'll pass. Michael Judge, you're the best source for Corona news, weatherman. That is a terrifying thought. From Karis8894, thousands of years of human history and advancement ended because a bat pissed on some fucker. At least Clown World gets a fitting ending. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Heavy Slash. Can I just say, fuck that couple that lied to come back to the U.S. from the Diamond Princess. They deserve to be lined up against the wall for their bullshit. There has to be a consequence. They went on national television. She was just giddy as fuck to tell people that. Fuck that lady. What a piece of shit. From Mr. Zeke Blowstein. Sup, Jim? Army is treating me well. Working on Sims. From QWERTY. Hopefully, this will cause the end of Pooh Bear's reign. Well, I don't know how he can hold on to the mandate of heaven. I thought if there was a uncontrollable epidemic like this, where a disease is ravaging the land and people's jobs are fucked and they're going hungry, doesn't he lose the mandate of heaven? Isn't that the will that's allowing him to rule? Are they going to go all yellow turban on his ass? I don't know. From Bullwinkle, I'm Batman. Damn it now. Get me out of this soup. From Yeater Parker, couldn't sleep from the koofs anyway. From Nemus Raccoon, why the hell did Nebraska let these mongrels in? I will violate them all if they expire with the sacred corn cob. From Solid Carrot, fuck yeah, late night grooming. From Mike Definder, are we allowed to call this a global pandemic now? Well, it's certainly an epidemic. I think for it to be classified as a pandemic, it has to spread like an epidemic on more than one continent. Isn't that the definition? Or the one that everybody goes with? Technically, it hasn't done that yet. You're going to need a lot of cases either in Europe or Africa or South America or North America or Australia. I don't think they're going to count South Korea, and I don't think they're going to count Japan. I'm pretty sure it's continents, not countries. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Liberty Prime, America will never fall to the red infestation. From Snow J, Koof on a Jew is my favorite holiday. Well, there is an infected. Israel has their first case, but I think it's somebody that was out of Israel that came back. But like North Korea and Russia and Mongolia, Israel was one of the first ones to start saying, fuck off, we're full. I think that's a strategy most countries should be adopting right now. and just say, hey, let's wait for everybody to die from this shit before we open the borders again. From M. Gry, one case from the U.S. doesn't seem to have any links to China. Native spread already. This is about the right time frame for all those that fled Wuhan. Well, the CDC, when they listed the 13 confirmed cases, I think they said 11 from China, but they said two local transmissions or human to human. I'm not sure what they meant. It was a little confusing, but they did their teleconference today, so I think it's more than one case that isn't related directly to China. From Jack Ryan, I'd like to thank Full Blast Forever, Rabbi Eldritchstein, and other archivists for catching all these streams when others can't. Praise Israel. From Nemesis Raccoon, screw or Omaha anyway. Kearney, Nebraska, Master Race. From Karis8894, in these difficult times, I miss the soothing voice of Eugene, reminding us all it's just a coof, bro. Oh, I miss those sweet, sweet lies. Eugene is still spurging out on Twitter, nonstop. I think the whole just a flu thing has really fucked with him, because he's blocked so many people. I know my good friend, Mr. Antibully on Twitter, and every single person that follows him has been blocked by Eugene, just on principle from all the just a flu bro jokes. If you tell Eugene this on Twitter, if you just a flu bro him, he will block you. He does not put up with any shenanigans, apparently. From Carnizzle, chill with late night streams, Jim. Something dark. If someone has the coronavirus, they should go to church and be prayed for. Jesus is the real cure. Well, I think the South Koreans tried that and it didn't work out too well. From Judd13, ravioli, give me the koofioli. From Possible Double, put Jannies on the front lines to clean up corona, cough stains, and lung liquid. Get out there and you clean it up. And they'll do it for free. And they'll thank you for it. From Scrix, here you go, Jim. Get yourself a carton for the bunker. Oh, I will do that. Nothing like fucking with the air supply by smoking cigarettes nonstop in the bunker. From Burnitz, I'm getting married today, Jim. At least I won't die a virgin. Well, you got it. Knock that one out of the ballpark. You'd better fuck like your life depends on it, because you're probably going to be dead tomorrow when the coof killers show up and infect you. From Gojira, I live in Cali. Pray for me as I try to survive. Yeah, I have a feeling California is really fucked. And in New York, didn't they have these cruise ships are just a curse. The one in Japan is a fucking curse. 600 cases, fucking with Japan. The one that landed the Westerdam or whatever it was that went to Cambodia probably got the Cambodian PM infected. And I'm almost certain it was like New York, New Jersey. It was somewhere on the East Coast. Somewhere on the East Coast had a cruise ship come in. It was New York. And they had people that were sick or they thought might be sick and they just let them off. I could swear I read that story like a week ago. And I wish I could remember the exact name of the ship. But of course I can't. From Koshi Drawers, Neats everywhere are celebrating. Well, if everything goes tits up, your power's going out. So, I don't know. What are you going to do to keep yourself entertained? From Sublin, are you reading Berserk yet? Hey, you know what? I heard there's this manga out there. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It's called Berserk. And in it, this guy gets fucked by a black guy. It's pretty. Woo! He's got a big sword and everything. He gets ass fucked by a black dude. From Elizabeth Bathory, ordered a Joltar cosplay this week. How dead am I? I'm fairly dead. From Gregory Koladzij, I don't know how to pronounce. Suda Parchima Zawardo Ora. From Beck's Fire. Are you familiar with YouTube Korean Jones? He's uploading a lot of great content related to the Kung Flu. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen that one. From Claude Rogemont. Here, Jim. Take this to get yourself a late night pizza. Courtesy of me, you deserve it. Make sure to tell them to hold the bat toppings, though. The bat toppings are what makes it taste so good. From Legato Madi. I'm starting to think you're not really a weatherman at all. You're just a D-bag on the internet. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. From Il Supremo. I, for one, am glad the stock market is finally failing. I was scared the trading robots figured out the economy would run way better without meat bags. From Mixstar. Toast the Jews. apparently. McStar's rooting for Corona Chan. Koshi Drawers. Koof 19. Purgis Sijij. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm getting over my cold, which hopefully isn't the Koof killer, but the Sudafed definitely is making me give me a little difficulty. Papa Jim, don't be a naughty no-no boy. Eugene needs to earn his paycheck somehow. From Punani Purun, reporting in from Japan. It's going to hit the fan here pretty soon. People are not ready for it at all. Government is totally inept. Yeah, that seems to be a common thread that's woven throughout this entire saga, isn't it? That every government that seems to be encountering this is just pants on head retarded when it comes to dealing with it. With the exception of maybe North Korea, who I'm almost certain is just killing people. They're not even subtly doing it like China with their little incinerators. Like they're just probably just shooting them. The no one's special here. Apparently the virus can spread through farts now. Brap sniffers on Seppuku Watch. Very true. From Stomach Cutter. Thank you, Gaylord, for what you do. Mario Kart 13. Chinese transparency. We so smart. Wu flu. Name not descriptive. Name round I learn about second virus in March. From White. Bat Gang, rise up. Sweeties and Mandorians unite against scatology. Love you, Jim. From Mark C. Ferg. Press F for my income, bros. I work for a carrier. iPhones are temporarily unavailable with no stock incoming. I'm about to be poor in a coof box. Yeah, the iPhones are... I don't know how long that's going to fuck with Apple's supply, but it's going to be a while. From Coal Agency. I'm working today, and over 300 people are expected to show up to my job today, and I have the flu. May Corona Chan help me spread her love. From John Smith. Hey, Jim, did you enjoy the Home Sweet Home webtoon? I don't know if I've seen the Home Sweet Home webtoon. From Permafrost. Make sure to stock up water and dry food, Jim. And if you haven't bought that gun yet, you should. Be prepared to defend yourself and your family. Remington 590. From Dak Jacobs. Cook the bats, Koof War now. Sinak 8. Isn't this like the second time Corona mutated? Did China make a super virus that mutates at such high speeds that vaccines might be useless? I don't know. There's so much wild speculation going on, backed up by scientists saying shit, with doctors saying other shit, and media saying shit, and government saying shit. It's coming from every direction. A good example would be the CBS LA story saying 70 confirmed corona cases, as opposed to the CDC saying only 13. Alan James, did you hear David Stay kicked Corona's ass? And he did it with broken ribs. Of course he did. He's fucking Mandar. He's going to kick that virus's ass. That's no problem for David. From Digital, airfare is going to be cheap as hell if this eventually ends and we somehow survive it. From Kashi Draws, how many more hats need to be purchased until your bunker is complete? GG, Jim. It was fun while it lasted. Let me just say this. I appreciate anybody buying merchandise, but don't right now. Teespring. Okay, let me see if I want to say this properly. I think Teespring does the designs in the U.S., but the raw materials like the blank shirts and hats and all that shit comes from out of the country. And they don't say where out of the country. So maybe hold off on the hats is all I'm saying. Don't buy any more hats until this is done with. From Travis Chapman, somehow a small part of me knew that China would be the death of us all. Just didn't think it would be like this. Rip and Pepperoni World. From Will Ross, Nebraska Koofhoosker here. Press F for me, chat. We're dead via Lion Karen's lol. From Sean Turner, I would watch a Robin movie fight Kite Man, Jim. I would not watch Robin fight shit, let alone Calendar Man or Kite Man or Egghead. What was the fucking Batman villain from the 60s? Literal Egghead, wasn't it? Honky Kong. Japan cancels anime due to Uwu flu. Okay, now is the time to panic. Kooflan, rise up. From Flippy's floppy message redacted, so I don't know what it was. Whom got 420? Jim, I watched the Sonic movie and everything you were worried about came true. Sonic farts after eating chili dogs and they take his shoes off. Well, of course they do. Of course they do. From Racial Whale, you're wrong about everything. It wasn't China, it was Western scientists, the Gates Foundation, etc. Look up Event 201, a pandemic simulation, used the coronavirus ran in October, which ended with 65 million dead. Well, that's not breaking news to me. We heard the the Senate from the Philippines talk about this. They played a YouTube video that basically said that same thing. This was like 3 streams ago that we went over that. Yeah, there was an entire governmental meeting in the Philippines that blamed Bill Gates, the CIA, and George Soros for the coronavirus and Ebola. Ebola as well, they said, was a weaponized one that was made with the Gates Foundation's blessing. From Cinder Archcade, love you, Jim. Just recently got caught back up on the streams. Hope you're liking them. Karis8894, let Jade out of the cage, Jim. She's cold and misses you. It's the only way I can keep myself safe. From Poke, waifu koof mask confirmed. From Bio Goji, Jim, I got to get through the Asian capital of Australia to get to campus. When I go back to university in 2 weeks, pray for me. I don't want Corona-chan. Oh, you're so fucking dead, man. It's nice knowing you, and thanks for the money. From SS, uh-oh, Annie. Use a CPP so big now. Annie, I'm sure what the fuck though. From Secularis, a month before this happening, I read an article about a Chinese hunter who literally caught the Black Plague from eating a wild rabbit. CV is just the beginning. Make peace with your gods now, R.I.P. From Sweetney Child, search live crisis news. Wife and husband lie on live TV to hear the heartwarming tale of 2 boomers in love who make the journey home, with the obstacle of being paused with corona. Oh, who doesn't love that story? Seriously, though, they should probably get arrested for pulling that shit. From Sean Turner, hentai artist dies of corona. Press F for Vivian. I'm not sure if you're serious or not, but already your porn's getting taken away. What? Holy shit! How do you think? Gamers are going to respond if, like, Shigeru Miyamoto dies of coronavirus? What do you think they would do? If Miyamoto suddenly coofs really hard one day and just drops dead? Because that's a possibility now. Think of all the video games you like and the game creators that you're fond of, and imagine them coofing to death. Imagine your favorite series just ending there and never ever having another one. A lot of F's in chat for our porn artist. Yes, somebody chat, Chug. Your hat has AIDS. Technically correct if it's made in China. Technically correct on that one, yes. From Mario Carter 13, Greta used final solution, Coofer effective. From Editorial Joe, publishing industry sources, a lot of 4-color books from China. Having trouble getting any commitment to ship dates. I work for a major global shipper. Our volumes are 15 to 25% under plan right now. Yeah, this is going to fuck with shit for so long. I mean, even if the virus disappears tomorrow, just to get shit back on program and running smoothly, you're going to have at least a month or so of interruptions. If everything went perfect by tomorrow. From KF, this is not a joke. Bring Christ into your life or I will rape you. You better do it. True American hero. New numbers coming in from China. Negative 100 new cases and 0.43 deaths. They did it, guys. China solved it. Eduardo Ramirez, whatever happens, Israel will be safe, right? Always. They will always be safe. They've got a big wall. From Calvier, just found out a doctor from my city got back from China today. I'm making a supply run tomorrow. Wish me luck. Best of luck. From Eddie Spaghetti, Eugene on suicide watch. Gold 818. Hey, Jim. Did you hear that Sony pulled their PlayStation booth from PAX East 2020 in Boston because the CDC couldn't confirm if PlayStation equipment from Japan wasn't infected with coronavirus? Well, I heard Sony pulled out of 3 events. I thought it was PAX, CES, and E3. But maybe I'm misinformed. From Keegan the Great, my girlfriend's brother is an English teacher in Korea, and he's been confirmed to have the virus, but don't tell my wife about the girlfriend. I'll keep it on the down low. From Joseph Coleman, how great is it that the Wu flu makes its grand appearance on the cusp of the Summer Olympics? What a fucking nightmare that's going to be if they go through with it. If this starts to die down just to a trickle, and then the Olympics kick off and all those people get nailed. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's like 5 months off, but still. ETR, Nurgle petitions the chosen of corn to fight. From Topher Griff, Florida refuses to release any numbers on coronavirus, even though the Super Bowl was in Miami 3 weeks ago. Oh, fuck, it was, wasn't it? Florida has some weird state law about releasing any kind of medical information, even if it's just general medical information. I don't know why they're being such a pain in the ass about it, but that's the way they're playing it. Satan's Advocate, hey, Jim, still prepping, don't want to die, NCA. Sergei Veselov, a friend of mine, a mechanic of the U.S. Army, are concerned about possible quarantine of his base. Also look into American number of infections and recovered. We are fudging the numbers just as bad. I get the feeling everybody is fudging the numbers for a host of reasons. From The Wildlife Warrior, do you think New Zealand and Greenland are going to be fined? Maybe not New Zealand, just given your proximity to the fire tornado hellscape of Australia. I don't know how much more torture they can take before they try to run to New Zealand to be safe and secure and bring the coofs with them. Greenland, maybe. Madagascar, definitely. From Nick Zedek, why contain it? From Michael E. Man, I live in PH and I caught this in November, and it's reemerged 3 times internally. So 14 days, my butt. From Elizabeth Bathory, can't blame the CDC. China still not shared anything. Yeah, they've been massive assholes in regards to sharing data with the CDC. And don't trust who. Who gave this bullshit line that they were going to go into Wuhan? And look at this. And then it comes out that they had a China team that was in Wuhan for like 2 days in mid-January, while they're up in Beijing sipping on fucking tea and have no plans on going back to Wuhan or anywhere in Hubei. So who can kiss my ass? I don't trust that organization for shit. Maybe they've got great people working for them, but the people in the upper management, the ones that are sucking dick for, funding money, I don't trust any of them. And the way they've handled this China shit is appalling. Now, I haven't lost my faith in the CDC. Hopefully they don't. I know they fucked up with those tests, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's miserable all over right now. From Ashley Cusio, Arizona State University, deleted tweets about the coronavirus on campus. Students were outraged. ACU lied about them living in student housing. Yeah, that's similar to a story I heard out of, I think it was New York. Was it a New York fire department that said they responded to a coronavirus patient and then it had to be deleted off their Facebook page? So there's weird shit going on out there. From Yusion Facius, Baby Yoda Soup, Yuri Klatsilov, China is a good boy. They didn't do nothing. From Sonic15, stop using animals for witch doctor medicine, China. From Gringo Brandio in China, Chino Hills, CA. Tied with Irvin for Chinese anchor baby capital. Chinese are freaked out, hoarding supplies and wearing masks everywhere. Yeah, they're going to start to see people hoarding shit, especially on the east and west coast. I have no doubt that's going to happen. From Peachfish, definitely a bioweapon, and I still think it's a distraction from Epstein. Keep streaming, Jim, and not koofing. Mr. Weatherman, I have not forgotten about Jeffrey Epstein and his magical suicide flip off the top bunk with toilet paper as a noose. From Eduardo Ramirez, I agree with you, Jimbo. This is a very southern rapper. Andrew Thorsten, kind of hard to be transparent through a cloud of corpse smoke. Very true. From Mad Mark, if Corona Chan fires my nards, I'll have to extract my cum so I can have kids. David S. Jim, what is your favorite album? I don't think I've listened to an album in fucking forever. I'll listen to music just for the fuck of it. I'll listen to whatever song catches my fancy. You know what I listened to recently that I really liked? As far as a diss track goes, was fucking Ice Cube's No Vaseline. Holy shit, that's great. Never heard it before. But then again, I am the whitest male motherfucker from the suburbs, so why would I? From Fataku, Kufin and Boomerin, Groom and Zoomers, Wooflu and the Nuts just oofed his coomers. Keep Jade in her cage. She's infected with rage. It's just the flu, bro. Wait 28 days. Gold 818. Sony won't be attending GDC 2020, making some think the PlayStation 5 will be delayed until 2021 because of the coronavirus is delaying production. I don't even think that I think that's more. It's beyond rumor and speculation into the probably category. That's probably going to fucking happen. I really don't think PlayStation 5 and the Series X are going to be able to be produced in enough quantity to justify a release this year. I really think they're going to both push them back one more year. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but I could see it happening. From Nick Zedek, Prophecy Leaf on 4chan was right. The belly of the dragon will drip. Well, it's actually the belly of the dragon will drip water, isn't it? And technically, yes, it would. Yeah, I guess they got him again. It's another one. From Death's Green Horse, the only person on the internet worth listening to. From Geo Stellar, Jim, you thought this entire time Jade was just being a Narutard when she's really been actually learning the forbidden ninja art of the Wu Flu. That would explain why her hands are always doing that weird shit. I thought she was just into finger puppets. Random Byzantine Guard, Commissar, we found a chaos suit of Nurgle. Begone thought. Hey Jim, not sure if this has been talked about, but do we know if asymptomatic men get it in their balls? Okay. I don't know if they've specifically studied if asymptomatic male carriers will have their testes fucked with. Right now, it's just one or two different people talking about how they believe this affects the testes and male fertility. That would be like another jump beyond just the asymptomatic stuff and then the testy stuff, and then you'd have to combine a study to find out if that's possible. From Rex Remedy, what name is better, Red Plague or Nutcracker 2019? I'm still sticking with tried and true Wu Flu. I like it. It rolls off the tongue. It's a nice alliteration to it. But people are free to call it what they like. I mean, shit, I call it coronavirus or the China plague. But COVID-19 sounds so dumb, I just can't bring myself to. Poster 402, all roads lead to Wuhan. RPJ, Flusifarian Death Cult, my Kung Flu is stronger. From Victor Phantasm Boss, I was frickin' right. It's the Unitology Church of South Korea, where they wed 1,000 couples at a time doing goofy religious shit. From Noah Mercy, Netflix reality show called Love is Blind about a Mexican manlet cucking to a 35-year-old woman, also actively cucked by the chat in the room. It's funny as fuck. It's called, I'll check that out, Love is Blind. I love watching uncomfortable dating situations. That's the best shit on earth. From Beguile Me, love your voice, Jim. You can read anime to me as the world burns. As a Midwesterner, if you get in a jam, send out the bat signal. I will bring my P100 mask and biohazard suits. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that. From Schmaltzy, buboes, phlegm, blood, and guts. Boils, boogies, rot, and pus. Blisters, fevers, weeping sores. From your wounds, the fester pores. Praise Nurgle. From Ryman, let's see. How screwed am I, chat? Wuhan vacay, vac to Cali, only 2-week quarantine. Just flew back to Neenah, Wisconsin. Just 20 miles from my house and next to my Costco. 40 miles south of Madison. Had some cases. What to do? So you're saying one of the self-quarantined in Cali for the 2 weeks is now back in Wisconsin? Well, I'd say that's probably not great, especially since somebody already tested positive outside of the quarantine period. Yeah, I don't know. Again, 24 seems to be the scientific study of it. What was his name? It was the same guy that worked on SARS or studied it or named it or some shit. It was the one that was saying 24-day incubation period. But then there have been, I think, 3, 4, or 5 cases reported that varied from like 30 days to 31 days. One was like 42 days. Another was like 80 days. It was fucking crazy. So I don't know. This whole thing is a really fucking bizarre disease. From Amor Fati, expect this to be a seasonal virus, guys. T. John Hopkins. From Mr. James Blockington, Derry Davis has to fit into this somehow. I know it. I don't know why John Hopkins, the article that came out quoting them, saying it's going to be seasonal. And I love that the media really hasn't, nobody's really, I don't, what was the guy at the CDC? Oh God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he said that this is not just a momentary thing. It's not just a year thing, but it's a year's thing, implying it's going to be seasonal as well. RPJ antibiotics fight bacterial, not viral infections. I'm aware of that, but they are pumping people full of literally anything they can fucking think of at this point. Again, why would you give him malaria medicine? He doesn't have fucking parasites, does he? Why are we giving them cancer medicine? It doesn't make any sense either. I get, like the steroids make sense to me. Okay, you pump them full of steroids because you got to intubate them, and you want those lungs to expand. Whatever. Maybe the antibiotics are in conjunction with all the other shit because your whole body's just getting hammered by it. Your immune system is getting butt fucked at this point. I don't know what's going on. Social Observer, Saturn's third ring is pure HIV. Also, to be fair, the children of Cain are the Chinese. From Gregory Kaldazaj, Roof Koreans, better than Koof Koreans. May Sigmar guide us through this heretical Nergalite plague. From Poke, give me the leeches, Jimbo. Are we going to do traditional Western medicine and suck the bad humors out? We're reaching that point. Social Observer again. NWO strikes back. Classic positioning. Based on what you know, what are the chances of this being an American plot to ruin the Chinese economy? But those people always say that. Drop this. I keep hearing that from those people. I've heard the speculation on that as well. It's hard for me to believe that any government on Earth would be stupid enough to release this. It just the economic impact seems like it's not. You would expect to be more prepared. If you were going to release something like this, you would expect that it, A, is not going to affect you the most, like it's happening in China, and B, if you're releasing it on China, you would expect to have your manufacturing shit lined up ahead of time, so there's no interruption in the flow of supplies, and you're not fucking stock markets up. I really do believe it's, again, I'm sticking with my original theory, that one of these bio labs is working on something they shouldn't have been, and some fucking lab assistant was a retard. Whether that's a bat pissing in his face or he got exposed somehow, I don't know. But it got loose. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think somebody would be stupid enough to push the big red button unless it's that Korean Koof cult. In which case, wow, that's amazing that actually happened. From Algumu 2, can somebody draw the female bat from Sonic? A leak on a Chinese site. Oh, is that Rogue or Rouge? What the fuck is the Sonic bat's name? You want a picture of her pissing on a Chinese scientist? I'm sure somebody will accommodate you. From 9/11 was the coolest thing ever. What was your opinion on the original Halo trilogy? I liked 1, 2 was okay, and 3 was okay as well. An enjoyable trilogy. As far as single player goes, multiplayer, I liked Halo 3. Alex Better, hey Jim, would you be upset that you can't finish reading the Spider manga? It would suck. We'd lose out on pretty much all the shit. The thing about all the mangas I've been reading is they're like all at the point now where I've got to wait a week for each new fucking chapter to come out. So yeah, I'm kind of fucked, aren't I? It's gonna be a little while. In fact, didn't an anime already announce production difficulties due to this shit? I could swear there's one show out there that's already using this as the reason that it's going to take longer to produce episodes. From Eddie Spaghetti, Italians aren't white. There's still a chance, bros. From Sergei Veselov, virus shows signs of incubating flu and hantavirus spreading. H having no cure with immune-compromising properties such as HIV/AIDS, which makes the flu go from a flashbang to a nuclear football. There was one. I couldn't track down a source on this, so I never really talked about it. But there was one, like Indian. I don't know what he was. He worked for some major health company in India. I know that's a joke in and of itself, but he talked about finding something really weird in the sequencing of the virus that made him think that this was intentionally made. Unless you're talking about this kind of stuff. I wish I'd saved the post, but I couldn't track down if he was a real person or not. I could find the company, the government agency, the health thing, but finding him specifically was a little difficult. From Nick Zadik, suddenly closing the border is okay and not racist. I agree. There's no reason people shouldn't be more cautious in regards to what's going on if you're a country and just shutting shit down for a while. From Brandon, This whole bat thing is an elaborate hint. R. Kelly is actually Batman and he pissed on evil Chinese scientists, thus starting the Great Coof Collapse. And nobody knew a thing because he's hiding in the closet right now. From Oswald First, decentralized production, agreed. Work with non-tax property and can compete with big business if they cross any moral lines. From Wolfbane, start running the border airports like Habbo Hotel. Ratman Productions, I got diagnosed recently with CF and already have lung scarring. Sadly, I'll have to live away from Corona-chan in a giant plastic bubble. Yeah, from what I understand, what is it? So, again, if the numbers are to be believed, but 80% will have mild symptoms themselves. 20% will need hospitalization. And then, of that 20%, I can't remember exactly how many will go into ARDS. And once you hit that point, you're going to have lung damage. Or they try to minimize it, but there's going to be scarring, from what I understand. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. I hate shit like this because then you've got to start looking into everything, and I just want my neat little apocalypse where I can sit on my ass in my little coof bunker and play some video games, watch some anime, read some manga, and just wait for the world to finish burning, so I can come out and loot everything, and then start living my Fallout or Stalker LARPing fantasy. From Wit at Biographical Dictionary, Best Girl. Sorry, Biographical Dictionary, Best Girl. 2% right. Bats biting, causing supervirus. Disney and Sony are going hardcore to promote the Morbius movie. Aren't they, though? From Nemeus Raccoon, Nebraska will destroyer. Go big, go big red. From Ruffling Steaks, have you heard about CCP members in military recovering faster than regular people? Only military doctors treating them. I have heard that they've sent in, well, first when Wuhan and Hubei had all this shit happen, they sent in, well, they had their normal staffing. Then a bunch of volunteers went in, and then they started sending doctors in from other provinces, and then they started sending in military doctors and nurses. So I don't know, but I have heard of a lot of doctors and nurses getting sick, and a lot of doctors dying, and I know that they say it affects old people more. The stats kind of prove that, but some of the stories of the doctors, like 29-year-olds just dropping dead. So I don't know if age is always going to protect you from this. From Noobs8943, with locusts moving from Africa to Asia and the coronavirus reducing the available workforce, I can see a severe worldwide famine coming this year. Better stock up on your non-perishables, Jimbo. That's right. That's what I'm doing. It's going to be nothing but bags of rice, and then I need a meat that, so I'm just going to go get me some Slim Jims, some Slim Jims, snap into them beef jerky sticks, because those will last like a year. So it's going to be, that's my life for the next year. It'll be rice and Slim Jims. What a nightmare. From Timothy Reaper, Jim, are you still stalking Corona-chan? Very much. Andrew Thorstein, if she showed up at a hospital near me, I'd say COV tests were inconclusive, but she did have an acute case of being hucked off the roof of a hospital. Victor Phantasm, well, boss, when the world ends, I'll finally get some automatic weapons in Texas. Also, there's an empty mansion for you in my neighborhood with a spring. That's good to know. From Andy Woohoo, what was the intro song? That would be the, I use it for Corona-chan, but technically it's the Ebola-chan song. Karis8894, Winnie the Pooh and the Woo Poo Koo Fun Flu. From Jubjud13, Great Corona Brap Cloud of 2020, imagine the smell. From Red Nog, Jim, you asked who made a nightmare virus like this. I can only think of one Applebee's waiter who kills everything he touches that could have served that bat soup. Maybe he was in the wings and the whole UKIP thing was a distraction. From Andy Woohoo, what's the song you used in the intro? I think, did it repeat that or did you ask twice? I don't know the exact name. I'm sure somebody in chat will tell you. But you can find it on YouTube if you just look up Ebola-chan theme song or Corona-chan theme song. From Hortius Cockles, Ping Pong, Wing Wong, Sing Song, Psyche, you cross borders, we know Reiki. From Hell Pike, do a funny birthday message for my brother Seth. I love you, Jimbo. A happy birthday, Seth. Your brother has a deep gay affection for you and would secretly sneak into your room and suck on your penis when you were asleep. From Shugo21, Pandemic 2, Electric Poogaloo. From Wolfbane, Google the patient and ASU was released from isolation after testing negative today. Okay, well, I'll do that. Let's see. Coronavirus, ASU. All right, let's see what we got. Hold on one sec. Let's see what news stories. Arizona coronavirus patient with ties to ASU released from isolation. A man with ties to Arizona State University in Tempe is now out of isolation, no longer being infected. Cleared release from isolation almost a month after a 2019 case was confirmed in Arizona. Is that the one you're talking about? I'll look into it more. I'll take a look a little deeper. Maybe there's more to it. From Zerdart, I live in Chicago and was holding off on another gun purchase. Now I'm strongly considering it. Remember, shotguns are cheap and double-aught buck will mess anyone up. From Jake, have you seen Alex Jones' coverage? He thinks the globalists released it to justify draconian government control and human depopulation. Well, I would make fun of Alex Jones, but like half the shit that he said that I thought was crazy as fuck seemingly has come true. Not related to this, but just other things over the past. The things I remember laughing about and thinking, it's fucking Alex is out of his mind. So maybe he got me. Maybe that's what it is, the Georgia Guidestone shit. I don't know. All I know is somebody had a bat piss on them and the world's ending. From Foxman2248, how do you think this will affect the 2020 elections? Well, if it becomes an epidemic in the U.S., how are we going to have an election? If this shit's everywhere? What if it doesn't go away? What if it just keeps bouncing back and forth from community to community, reinfecting people? Who's going to go out to vote? So what they'll do is they'll say, well, to protect people from the coronavirus, because it's still a problem in the United States, even though we've mitigated most of the effects, we're going to forego going to the ballot box because having people in lines will be a problem. Instead, we'll give you this nice app you can use, or you can go on your web browser and vote. And then we're going to have what happened to the Democrats with that Shadow Inc. shit. So I don't know. Not a great outcome. Hopefully somebody's thinking about this ahead of time, so that kind of shit doesn't happen. But we'll see. From Rex Elias, a reminder that a bat pissed into the mouth of a Chinese scientist, and is the result of a koofing pandemic. Sounds like a new DC comic villain, right up there with Shadowhawk. I'm sure, the man who got AIDS and breaks people's backs because of it. From D. Butler, the regular American flu has already killed over 100 children, and they are expecting us to have second much deadlier wave soon this flu season. From Big Digger Nick, can't wait for Corona Chan to stretch out my boy hole and release my delicious toxic poop fumes. Coof coof. From Bad Nut, any malaria medicine available over the counter? No, I don't think they sell that shit over the counter. It's kind of like the HIV or cancer medicine. Not really something you can walk into like a Walgreens and be like, hey, I'm going to need like a barrel full of this shit. From Justin, me Chinese, me play joke, me put bat pee in your Coke. From Torpedo, hi boss. Any thoughts on the gun girl Caitlin Bennett? Stay safe. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Sorry. From Squidna, stopping by to pay the tithe. Have a good one, Jim. Thank you. From D. Butler, did you see all the dead wildlife from the spraying? No, I have not, but I would imagine the shit they've been pumping out for the last month is having some effect. From Plum Logan, vaccine, we've all seen V for Vendetta, right? From Coal Agency, remember China wanted to rewrite the Bible. They did, that is true. From Garbage Malloy, birds are no longer flying over China. Even they have left, have they? When we've reached the point that birds are now quarantining China, maybe we should take after their lead. Or maybe all the locusts from Africa ate them. I don't know. From Schmaltzy, Xi Jinping has fallen out of the mandate of heaven and has cursed China. The Chinese need to follow in their ancestors' shoes and take up arms. From Cherim, the last plague's going to ruin China after the one-child policy. From Timothy Reaper, burning bush, Taiwan #1. From Soul Living, this is certainly helping to lower CO2 everywhere. From Scoop, FEMA enforced vaccines is right up there Uncle AJ's alley. I haven't been watching him. Has he said anything? Well, somebody said earlier he has. I just haven't had a chance to watch any Jones yet. From Coal Agency, didn't we hate the commies? I believe we do, yes. From Colin Archer, I was terrified of going back to my university after the winter break. There are now fewer Asians there. Love you, Jim. Stay safe and muzzle your pet Asian. And I hate when it does this. It just did it on me right now. This system works a little better than it did on the old Super Chats, but it still will just fucking jump you around without giving a shit. Sorry, chat. Just give me one moment. Yeah, I just did it again. Motherfucker. Okay, that was the depopulation thing. All right. Okay, caught back up. From Zenith, damn it, Jim. It's 12:30 a.m. Too soon. From Hortius Coisus, Jim, is it true when Poll says Asian gals have horizontal gashes? If so, how do they compare to the vertical ones? Asking for a friend. Well, I'd say it's kind of like watching a video on YouTube compared to watching one on World Star Hip Hop. Think about it, it makes sense. The raging post-canon. They're faced when the whole world suffers because China cares more about stealing IP than stopping people from dying en masse. This is a future they chose. Welcome to hell. China has started it. From Rex Zelius. This is a work of Liberty Prime. He's online. From Scrix. Here you go, Jim. Get yourself a carton for the bunker. We are the remnants of the white apocalypse, says. Kelly, it's legal to knowingly infect people with AIDS. That is very true. You can't, it's not a felony anymore to infect people with AIDS. I think they give you a ticket and a slap on the wrist. Here's your $10 fine for giving everybody HIV. From Schmaltzy, when people ask me why globalism is bad, I'm just going to point to this shit from now on. Shit is really going to hit the fan if it gets any worse. From Big Guy, the coronavirus can't touch me, for I've got stockpiles of Robocough and practice my Wim Hof breathing in anticipation for this. From the Cockmaster, California bro here. Rip, we deserved it though. From Revox, getting deployed in a few days. Hope the U.S. becomes like World War Z when I come back to the States. You may get your wish. With China's number manipulation, it seems like they're bringing the dead back to life, so we may get zombies. From Zones, Chades is airborne. Time for a P100 mask. Big Digger Nick, here's the church, here's the steeple. Time to face facts. Trans folks aren't people. From The Arbiter, great stream. Thought I'd see some Mario Vor. Instead, I got educated about Koofers. From J Sweetie 24, the Woo Flu was all fun and games for the past few weeks. But can we cancel the happening already? It's really starting to make me lose sleep. 14,000. Wait, hold on. Just a second. Hold on. Wait. I'm refreshing the page. Wait a second. Hold on. Just wait. Let me stare off to the right for 5 minutes. Not say anything. Wait, hold on. Can we get a thank you for the mods? 14,000 indeed. From Aurora Borealis. Do you expect China to break into civil war over this? Given the Uyghurs in the West and Hong Kong would be interesting to see. I don't know what's going to happen in China. But I do know that you can't keep people under a quarantine like this for months because they're going to go fucking stir crazy. And then shit is going to happen. AK Talk, did you see how PETA tried to blame meat eating for a corona jam? Yes, PETA was very clever. They said an anagram of corona. What is it? An anagram of coronavirus is carnivorous. So if you stop eating meat, it'll stop the plague. Well, PETA, an anagram of PETA is tape, like the thing you should wrap around your fucking mouth to shut the fuck up. From an unpronounceable Japanese name. Hi, Jim. Love ya. River plague is exhausting, but at least I'm not losing my heart, lungs, or nuts to the Wu flu. Didn't the Chinese ever see outbreak? I don't think they have. From Proto-Man, Hong Kong protesters must be practicing black magic. From Apache Chief, New York City and Staten Island, and drink I'm Dead Man Walking. Also, the ship was in Bayonne, New Jersey, and I didn't know they let them or the guys get blacked. Thanks, Jim. Thanks. From Big Island, Kabuto. I saw a story about a toilet paper robbery in Hong Kong, wondering if we'll see such shortages in the West. I pray things like this don't get super sketchy, but I stocked up on TP just in case. Thanks for the stream. Well, that is true. There were toilet paper robberies that are taking place, and somebody stole like 6,000 face masks from a Japanese hospital, too. Eric, Aussie Uni pays China students to skirt travel ban. Yeah, I saw that story, and that's fucking insane. From Armageist, Karen's Kufr Queefs is the call of Nurgle. From Thoughtler, I just ordered a figure from Japan. How fucked am I? Oh, it's nice knowing you. Big Island Kabuto again. Depending on how we make it through this, maybe we can bring some manufacturing back to the U.S. I'd say that's a good idea. Wouldn't hurt to shore things up like that. Legato Madi. Kitchen grease burn, OSHA slips, trip falls is a video where a lady slips and pours a big hot pot of grease on herself. It's awesome. Wasn't that part of like a Canadian or Australian PSA thing? There's one group of workplace injuries where they show the full injury, and it's crazy, and I'm almost certain they're Canadian. From John, I know you're saying OSHA, but I'm almost certain it's Canadian. John Snyder, and today on the Metokur stream, Eduardo Ramirez, Jim, get a WASR instead. Say no to Amerimut AKs. From Kharkov Tanatis, I work in a salsa factory, and we get our glass from China. I always knew I'd die because of Chinese incompetence. From Afriel Wolf, with all the Chinese house buyers dead, maybe I can afford a house, Koof Koof. You must live in Canada. I'm guessing where a one-bedroom house is $14 million. From an Extist Moonstruck Sneaky Stream, it's very sneaky. Hello, Jerry. Just remember not to pop bubble wrap because the air within is from China. That's what I'm talking. So you got to start thinking about these things. Beware the bubble wrap. They're little bursts. They're little mini koofs that are waiting to get you. From Bun Buns, I live in Sacramento and I have a feeling that coronavirus is spreading here. At least 3 people I work with are in the hospital diagnosed with pneumonia. I would not be surprised. Usually it's walking pneumonia, unless they're asymptomatic. Fuck, I don't know. But from what I noticed from the Chinese cases, at least, it seemed to start with it'd be like a fever of around 101 or 102 for like 3 or 4 days. And then the breathing problems would start by like day 3 or 4. And then they'd find out they had pneumonia. And then shit got really bad. From Zanith, how long before Corona wipes out DeviantArt? Probably not. It's hard to fight perversion. It'll survive, like the cockroaches. Jason versus Jason 2017. Thanks for the stream, Jimbo. From Bullwinkle, all hail the blue whale. From Zanith, wait, if the Gates Foundation is behind this, does this mean Bill Gates is playing 4D chess to make Xbox the only console left in the aftermath? Oh, should we go deep conspiracy? Let me put Alex Jones to shame with my conspiracy theories. The reason that the previous Xbox One was going to have a Kinect bundled in with an infrared camera was so it could monitor your vital signs. So Bill Gates Foundation could custom create a virus that would kill even neats that never get off their fat asses and insulate themselves in their houses. The Xbox One Kinect program was all a part of the Gates Foundation nefarious plan to engineer Corona-chan to kill off gamers. And we'll never know because he's on his super yacht, which cost, what, $500 million that he's sailing around on? So we'll never get that answer. It's never coming. He wanted that biometric data and he got it. From Legato Madi, reminds me of Satoru Iwata's poignant last words. Well, I'm dying now. Oh, I think you just made Chibi Necodemics cry. From Mr. XDeath 57, no BS in New Jersey University Hospital has a few patients with virus, and they're keeping it hush-hush. But my mom, who works there, has confirmed this scared. Well, yeah, there are reports all over the place that people are self-quarantined or self-isolated or suspected cases, and people posting about something from an official account like a fire department or a police station or hospital, and then suddenly gets taken down. So I don't know. What is that? Nobody knows till everybody knows kind of thing. So we'll see. Ellen Bastard MP, a virologist who's a religious nut. That's all we need. A slant-eyed Jim Jones. From Stomach Cutter, buy food and water now. From Malleable Tick, you still owe us the Eva video. From Protoman, Shinji Church of Jesus is a cult that hands out doomsday flyers all the time. Has been known to get violent. They'd probably spread it on purpose. There you go. Man of the people, what are your long-term goals? Well, I'll tell you what my long-term goal is, same as the short-term goal. Surviving this shit. From the expert guy, buy yourself a beer and a face mask, a boyo. From Corny, FFP3 masks sold out in Baltics. Chinese buying out entire stocks in person. Also check out GIS aid for your mutation tracking. I've not heard of that one before, but yeah, I'll take a look. From Flaming Teepee, we need George Carlin's immune system quick. Swim in raw sewage. Melvin the Weed Wizard. 3 fun facts about China. They boil eggs in urine. V. Boy eggs. Street food vendors use raw sewage as cooking oil. And it is socially acceptable for kids to poop in the streets. I've actually heard that. I've heard that people in both Hong Kong and Taiwan get really pissed off because they feel that mainlanders from China have no manners, and their kids will shit anywhere. Like you'll see mothers holding their kids' ass over like a fucking trash can and just letting them go. One from Rusty Cage, 420. Thank you. From Digital, United States is relatively food secure. From Joan Arc, remember, eat bugs, not bats, and when push comes to shove, eat the rich. 4chan, 4Prez. Meanwhile, they have a Hep C outbreak in South Haven, MS, because a Papa John's employee has been infecting the food for months. Shit. As in they've intentionally been doing it, or, intentionally doing it, or is it just they didn't know kind of thing? From Joan Arc, work FIFO people just went to Bali for a trip, came back sick as fuck, came to the site, got us sick. I'm going to die. Enjoy my Disneyland fun bucks while you can. Oh, thank you. Joan Arc again. Also play Indivisible. Good stuff. Comic book guy is giving me emojis, which seem to indicate that bats are going to be the death of us all. From Cole Agency, the gout from DSP will save us all. From Cross, Chinese officials are killing all the fluffy doggoos, thinking they spread coronavirus. This means war. Yeah, I've seen the videos. They're pretty fucking awful. From Mr. Curie, feck off, Jim. Trying to drink. From Galen Hess, what is the best card to play after Epidemic in the Illuminati card game? Asking for a friend. I'm not sure, but I guess I should take a look at that Illuminati card game. Big Digger Nick, the only person who can save us now is Ted Jesus Christ God. I think he went on vacation. We're fucked. And from Mr. Curie again, seriously, I hope you're handling well. I should be fine, I think. What are we going to play us out on here? I think I've got something. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if it's an appropriate thing to play. Probably not. Probably a mistake to play it, but I'll do it anyway. I think this is it. Okay, let me get that queued up. I hope this is the right one. You know what? Actually, let me try that again. It's probably not the right one. I'm probably an idiot. And I'll pull up the wrong thing. Oh, this is disastrous. Now I can't find it. I had something all ready to go, and I fucked it up. Just fucked it right up. Okay, I think that's the right one. We'll see if it is or not. If not, well, whatever. Okay, I'm fairly certain that's the right one. All right. Oh, did I miss one here? I might have missed one here. Last two. Eddie Spaghetti, there's only one way to strengthen your immune system, and that's to swim in raw sewage. I'm not pulling your chain or anything. You can thank me later. Oh, let me just go jump right down a manhole. And finally, from the Cockmaster, don't buy masks. They're probably from China. Well, that could very well be true. Instead of an outro song, let's play this instead. I wish you all the best of luck. Keep your eye on those CDC bulletins, because I'm sure we're going to get more as time goes on. I think South Korea, Japan, and Singapore are the ones to watch, and we'll see what happens in Iran and Italy as this empty bun, nothing burger continues.
Oh, bat soup. New delicacy for me to try. Let's see what it tastes like. Tastes like chicken, but a little bit less. So good, bat soup. Yummy. Thank you, Xing Jinping. Thank you for this Great mule, my leader.